Hi Sagittarius, this is your forecast for the month of May 2018. This is a general reading for Sagittarius Sun, Sagittarius Rising, or Sagittarius Moon. For a more rounded overview, please watch your rising and moon sign as well. Now, the underlying energy is this Nine of Wands reversed. And so for some of you, you are dealing with some issues that perhaps are going to resolve this month. Maybe the nightmare is over. You're coming out of some form of depression. You feel a sense of hope. You finally realize that history of where you've been holding yourself back, and you're willing to end your suffering. There's a new dawn. Now, maybe if your project had stalled, you suddenly begin to feel useful again. You feel like you can trust in a situation. And so you're focused on what's happening in your life and how to move forward. Maybe you're going over old ground in a situation. For others of you, you feel trapped because you're depressed and perhaps you don't even realize how depressed you are. Or there's some mental exhaustion because you've been dealing with some situations that have been happening for a long time now. And so you're dealing with a spiritual struggle. Could be that there's shame involved, some form of disgrace. But positively, you are trying to gain greater understanding. There have been some challenges to that. And so you're having to walk away from a situation or a relationship that in this moment in time just can't be salvaged. Now, that's not to say that in the future you can't reconnect. But right now, you need to put something on hold. Maybe you need to block something. And doing that is just as challenging. You're having difficulty walking away, but that's essential to your well-being. You're having to think about, letting other people fight their own battles, make their own choices, live their own lives, giving them the freedom to do something that you wouldn't necessarily choose for yourself or for them. So if you're not willing to consider alternatives, you're going to be stuck in a state of anxiety. And it's important, especially if you're dealing with something that's very seductive to you. Maybe somebody's very charming. There's a history of trying to get over through seduction, guile, or charm. You're going to have to think about what it is that you want, who it is that you want, and what are the consequences to that. Because if you're making faulty judgment or you're doing something unwise, this could be an unhealthy preoccupation that influences your physical self. Now, this may center around abundance in whatever form. Maybe you're letting go of abundant worries. Maybe there have been financial concerns, emotional concerns. Maybe you were trying to move a project or situation forward in order to reap the fruit of that. Maybe there are issues where, there's been a lack of gratitude or not enough. And you're having to shift the way you think of things. There's a scarcity consciousness involved in your circumstances. So again, you are dealing with this Knight of Cups, issues where you've been blocked, where somebody may have been less than honest or misleading, and you want to make progress. You want to know where you stand with something, and you want to move forward. So this is going to be a very challenging month for you. You are dealing with the past. You're tying up some loose ends, dealing with issues you wanted to avoid. The purpose of which is to expand your consciousness, to change your perspective, to give you greater awareness. And it has something to do with your freedom, your independence, your destiny. Perhaps it's coming through intense situations, perhaps in some form of a crisis, things that tie to your destiny and your shared, resources with other people. The good news is you have no major cards, which means that in spite of that frustration, you are largely pulling the strings to your situation. You have more control than you think, whether it appears so on the surface or not. And any kind of unhappiness or troubling situations are likely to blow through, and it's over with before you know it. Now, you want to, it seems like this is a situation where you're trying to move forward, and then you're going back over something. You're making some progress, and then you're having to go back over some old ground. You have all of the elements here. So, this is a balanced reading. So there's someone in your world who's very solid, who's reliable, and yet this person is much maligned. They're misunderstood. They want to provide the support. They want to do the right thing. And it's a familiar role that they're used to playing. And yet, somebody is not perhaps appreciating that. And in spite of the strength that someone has within this situation, they may need that support. Now, you're having to look at the issue of self-sabotage. There's something you want to move forward, and you have the power to do so, but you seem to be talking yourself out of it. So, there's definite movement and progression, but there's some uncertainty as to how long this progress is going to last. All right, Sagittarius, I hope you enjoyed this reading. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss anything. I would love for you to join me on Instagram or come over to my blog for a daily post. And of course, you can always book a personal reading at thealchemistastrologer.com.